What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Friday Night Chill with Will. I'm Will. This is episode 2. So thanks for tuning in tonight. Tonight, we are going to be talking about Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse. Yeah, it's just going to be me tonight. So I'm just going to be giving you my thoughts on the movie and, what I thought about it, obviously. But before we get into all of that, I do have some housekeeping stuff I want to get out of the way, so that way you are all aware of that. So I've been working really hard to make sure that this show is accessible and accessible in other places outside of YouTube, because I recognize that there are many places now to listen to podcasts. So want to make sure you guys have options. And if you can't just pull up a live stream, then I want you guys to be able to, find stuff. So if you've been following me on social media, you already know all of this stuff. I've posted all of that on Twitter and Instagram. But here they all are. So Friday Night Chill with Will is going to be available on all 6 of these platforms outside of YouTube. So it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Audible, and Amazon Music. I've checked the links. Everything works. And so the way it's going to be working with those episodes is basically after I finish doing the live stream on Fridays, I'm going to wait for YouTube to process the encode basically of the stream, of the archive basically that it does every week. And then I'm going to copy that over to Spotify. And so when it's on Spotify, it will send it to all of these other podcast hosts, and all of them will get the the archived episode. Spotify is going to keep the video of the episode, but obviously the other 5 are audio only platforms, so it's just going to have the audio. I don't think it will be that big a deal because visual gags and things just really aren't going to be a big part of this show in general, I don't think. So yeah, man, I just wanted to share that with you all. So if for whatever reason you can't catch the live stream, or the way YouTube does podcasts is kind of a pain in the ass for you, you guys have options. And so follow the show on any of those platforms, and let me know if you do and which one you do it on. I don't expect you to follow all 6 of them, because I don't know that many people use more than one of these for podcasts. So if you do follow the show on one of them, go ahead and, I don't know, tag me in it, or let me know that you did, so that way I know there's people out there listening. And I also know which platforms are kind of more active than others, because I recognize with the show being on so many, there's going to be more platforms that are more active than others. And with all that too, I would also really appreciate rating the show. Once we get a nice little catalog more of episodes in, we're only 2 in, and this is the first one by myself, so I'm not really expecting a bunch of super positive reviews or anything like that. So yeah, that was kind of it for housekeeping stuff. I will link the Twitter thread that has all of those links in the description after I end the stream, because that's the one thing I forgot to put in the description for tonight. It's pinned on my Twitter profile, so if you guys ever need to find any of those links for whatever reason, they are all right there. So yeah, anyway, just wanted to take care of that. So yeah, man, let's talk about Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse. All right, sorry about that, guys. I'm experiencing some weird technical stuff tonight. Anyway, so I have to redo that part again. So we're talking about Across the Spider-Verse tonight, and I really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed these animated Spider-Man movies. I think they're really fun. I think most people enjoy any of these Spider-Man movies because I can't think of like really bad ones. Then again, I haven't seen the Amazing Spider-Man movies, so I don't know. Maybe there's something there I'm not noticing or whatever. Um, but yeah, man, this movie was really cool. I really dug the style it had. The first movie had a lot of style to it as well, but this one I feel like improved on it like even more. Um, I think the music was more memorable in the first one, but I would say the visuals definitely stood out to me more in this one. I can't tell if Miles's sections were the same art style as the first or if they tweaked it a little bit. I couldn't really tell if I'm honest, but it all still looked really pretty. It was all really well made and like I was just totally blown away with some of like the visual storytelling they would do. And that was something that was really cool is like telling story through the animation. Like it wasn't just like, exposition carrying what was happening in the movie. It was different visual stuff. And there was sometimes it was just like little small stuff and that's something that really stands out in these movies. I think it's really fun, it's really cool. It was cool seeing all the different art styles, just culminate and be in one place. With like the different, with the Spider Punk and the Indian Spider-Man and all of the different Spider-Man. They all looked really cool, and I can't even begin to fathom how that even works, like animating all of those different characters in one shot. Like that's gotta be such a feat. Like it's already I imagine it's already like such a feat to animate one, you know, general style for an entire scene, but then you have like 200 Spider-Man people on screen at once. It's kind of crazy. Um, but yeah, visual stuff was really cool. The story it was fine. I didn't have any problems with any of it. Um, like multiverse stuff, people are kind of up in arms with it right now, probably because the MCU is doing it. And I don't know, it might just be like fatigue um, with some of these like multiverse concepts. But I think these Spider-Verse movies are kind of going about it in an interesting way. And it was interesting hearing them talk about like, canon events and things of that nature. And uh, it kind of like had you look at it in a more like linear sense rather than I don't know, like, I feel like the way they're tackling it in the MCU is different than how they're tackling it here. Like, everything seems like it has to happen a certain way in the Spider-Verse movies, but in, like, other stuff in the MCU, it feels like it doesn't necessarily need to happen that way. Or maybe I'm just misinterpreting it, but I'm not too sure. Uh, okay, we got Red Ranger Christian in the chat. What's up, man? Thank you for dropping in. We're talking about Across the Spider-Verse tonight. Um and Chance, yo, what's up, dude? Thanks for dropping in, man. Appreciate it. So yeah, man. What else was there in this movie? I kind of think it's funny the kind of uh, it might be partly intentional, but I'm sure it's mostly unintentional, like meta commentary with Miles like always having to reiterate that he is Spider-Man because you have, purist fans who think he's just like an alternate to Peter like an alternate to Peter Parker when the reality is it's like, no, dude, he's just another Spider-Man. Like it's just, how Peter Parker's Spider-Man, so is Miles. And I think it's funny, like just kind of seeing um that kind of conversation happen um throughout this movie because it's happening in real life too, which is I don't know. I think it's silly. It doesn't make any sense. Like there's like 200 or plus Spider-Man. I saw an article that it was like one of the shots had like 293 different versions of Spider-Man on the screen. And your biggest point of contention is that one of them isn't Peter Parker. Especially when we had yeah, 2099 Miguel O'Hara, like he's been around for a while. So I don't know, man. Racist people are fucking weird. I don't understand why they. Then again, I don't understand racist people at all. Like it doesn't make any fucking sense. But it's cool to see that commentary. Like it's like subtle commentary play out in these movies. I'm really interested to see what the third movie has in store. I'm pretty sure it's the last one because I'm pretty sure it's a trilogy. Usually they go for three. Um, but yeah, man, it was a really fun movie. It was a little over 2 hours long. I didn't never really felt bored. I was honestly when the to be continued thing happened, I was pretty shocked because, well, first of all, I wasn't expecting it, and also it felt like I had been in the theater for a long time, but I wasn't bored, if that makes any sense. Um, so I definitely felt the amount of time I was in the theater, but I was entertained the whole time. So that was nice. But yeah, man, what other parts did I enjoy in this movie? Um, I love the evil doppelganger stuff. That's kind of cool. It's hard not to not draw comparisons to like some of the other Marvel stuff, just because there's so much of it, and we've seen like, especially with multiverse stuff, it's like, oh, they're kind of retreading, some of the stuff we've seen in like the past couple years with the Marvel movies. But at the same time, that's just kind of comic books in general. They kind of retread a lot of the same patterns. They're formulaic. Like that's kind of the appeal to them. So yeah, it is cool seeing Miles's alternate self as the Prowler. Like that's cool. I don't know much about Miles, if I'm honest. That most my biggest exposure to him has been in these movies and in the PlayStation game, which side tangent, Spider-Man 2, man. How about Spider-Man 2? That looks fucking dope, right? Like, if I played video games, I would definitely be buying that, but I know I could never play that game in a way that would do justice to make those characters look cool because especially when it's like a near 1-1, scale, set for New York. Um, yeah, there's no way I would be able to play one of those games and like feel cool doing it. But I am excited to, watch a few Let's Plays and see what the story in that game is about. Um, because the first game was really cool. That had it was like Spider-Man. It was like classic Spider-Man, but with some new elements that I personally had never seen before. Um, but yeah, anyway, sorry. I just a little side tangent. Just wanted to talk about Spider-Man 2. But anyway, back to this movie, the movie, not the video game, the movie. um, uh, but yeah, I'm interested to see where they go. I don't know. I I feel like they are going to keep Miles's dad alive in this interpretation of Miles's story, just because I don't know, like it seems like he's going to like all this effort to stop it for this canon event from happening. So it'd be kind of weird if it didn't happen, but at the same time, I guess it would just kind of make sense. I feel like if it does happen, it might just not be in the original way that he has that vision shown to him with the spot, which the spot real quick, I totally thought that was going to be a comedic villain for the entire movie, but That was a bit that was a pretty, drastic tonal shift. Um, it makes sense. I'm glad they recapped where he came from and where his powers came from, because I meant to watch Into the Spider-Verse before I watched this, but I just didn't get the chance to, because these streaming services love making it so fucking difficult to rewatch movies before you go to the movies. So, um, yeah, I'm glad they recapped that. But he ended up being pretty cool villain. I am not too familiar with this villain at all. I'm assuming he's in the newer realm. Again, I don't know much about Spider-Man. um, yeah, man. Sorry, I got got distracted. Uh, I should have really taken down notes. I meant to take down notes like all week about what happened in the movie, so that way I could do a better job reviewing it for you guys. Let me pull up. There we go. Let me pull up some stuff so I can like jog my memory and talk about stuff. Uh, Hi, Colin. Colin's in the chat, everyone. I am trying to find something to jog my memory about what happened in this movie. I've been talking about it for like the last 10 minutes, but for whatever reason, I'm now drawing a blank and I don't know what to talk about next. I meant to take notes this week. Totally didn't do that. But whatever. We're winging it. We're figuring it out. We're having a good time, I guess. Uh, I don't even know where to begin looking for pitted against the other. Now I'm just reading the IMDb, which is super helpful. Okay, here we go. Here we go. We have the whole. Oh yeah, Peter B. Parker. Okay, yeah, actually wanted to talk about Peter B. Parker. So here's the thing. I didn't really like Peter B. Parker too much in the first movie, if I'm honest. I thought he's kind of annoying, if I'm honest. And here he's kind of more annoying now that he has a baby. I know the Spider Baby or whatever is a comic thing, so I'm not like trying to dog it for having that. I just thought, I don't know, like with the role he plays, it was kind of, I don't know. I don't feel like that was the best character to have in like some of these very serious moments. I don't know, because like I feel like there was just like a lot of serious moments in this movie, and they just kind of got undercut because this dude has a toddler strapped to his chest, and for some reason still wears a bathrobe everywhere. I think that part honestly bothers me more than the baby, because the baby, like, there's bits in there that are funny. Like, I'm not knocking the baby, but I will say I feel like there were more serious moments in the movie that probably could have hit a little bit harder if Peter B. Parker wasn't the one he was talking to. I get why he's there, or why he is doing what he does, because he obviously has that connection with Miles, and Miles is the reason he had the baby to begin with. So, that part makes sense. But I don't know. There's just a few weird moments in that movie. He's not my favorite part. Even some of the more like uh, some of the Spider-Man we met for the first time, like Kobe and um, Pavtir. I feel like they fit in more to what was happening. I feel like Peter B. Parker was only there because he was in the first one. It's kind of maybe he would have been. I don't know. Maybe he should have taken more of a back seat in this movie. But yeah, man. That's who else do we have? Spider Bite. Oh yeah, the little hacker girl. She's not even real. She's an avatar. There's just some girl sitting at a computer like me, except instead of talking on the internet, she's talking on the internet. She's just has a hologram that can do a bunch of crap for her. Um, yeah, man. I love seeing like alternate spider people from the first movie again. I wish we got to see them a little bit more. Like I know they wanted there were a ton of Spider-Man in this movie. But it would have been kind of cool for him to just kind of meet up with all of the other spider people he already met before again. So kind of have a more heart to heart with them. But yeah, man, I'd say overall I enjoyed the movie. I had a good time with it. Was not disappointed. I think be catching. I mean, I'll be catching the next one regardless, um, because it's Spider-Man. I feel like Spider-Man is just such an easy superhero to sell to people. Um, yeah, I agree, Colin. I can't even begin to think what some of the canon events were. Oh, because I think there was like a cat. There was a spider cat, and the T Rex. What was the T Rex's canon event? The the asteroid was the asteroid the canon event on his Earth? Did the Was it not a giant asteroid? Was it a giant exploding spider that I don't I'm not even gonna finish that thought. That doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't even know what I'm saying. Anyway, but um yeah, there's definitely a lot of very unique for lack of a better word, spider people. Um, but yeah, man, we'll see how they go about it in the third movie. I think that's coming out 2024, like next year, or I think it might have gotten pushed. I think I saw like March of 2024. I don't know, especially with everything going on in film, if that started affecting like editors and shit yet. Um, So I don't know. We'll see. For those of you who might be confused, there's a writers and now an actors strike happening. So that's cool. Um, I don't know what that means for like producers and people who work behind the scenes and editors and all that shit. I don't know how any of that works, but um, we'll see. At this point, I'm probably expecting a delay. I don't think it'll be in March of next year, unfortunately, but I still think it will be next year. I think it's just going to be later. And honestly, I kind of don't mind that because it does. I don't know. It does feel more like a summer movie, and that was kind of how I felt watching this one. It was kind of a nice start to the summer season for movies, even though it's like 65 degrees here in Southern California lately. but but yeah, man, that was Across the Spider-Verse. I had a fun time with it. Um, Hobie's a lot of fun. Hobie's cool. um, I probably wouldn't have related so much to Hobie a few years ago, but my views on things have definitely changed a lot. Um, and I definitely understand where he's coming from now. But yeah, man, I think that's about it. That's about all I got for y'all. Um, yeah, so next week, for next week's show, I think we're gonna talk about Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, because I've been excited to go see that movie. Kind of picked a good time to start this show because we are at the beginning of, the summer blockbuster season. So we got all these movies coming out. So yeah, man, I think next week we're going to be talking about some Transformers. So that's going to be fun. And I promise I'm going to try and take some better notes. That way I'm not like stammering and shit, because that's annoying to listen to. But yeah, man, I think we'll just end it. We'll wrap it up here. Uh, I know it's kind of short. I'm trying not to get too psyched out about the length of the episodes. I'm just going to talk about whatever I want to talk about for however long it takes, and that's just going to be the episode for the week. So kind of need to just accept that. I hope you guys are enjoying anyway. But yeah, man, if you uh, do end up watching the Transformers movie before next Friday, go ahead and let me know. Let me know what you thought. We can talk about it in the chat. Whatever. If you have a point or something, you can bring it up as well. Remember to follow the podcast on all of the various podcast hosts: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, all of the other. They're gonna be linked in the description, guys. Like it's fine. And if you found this show on one of those sites like Spotify and iHeartRadio or whatever, I hope you're enjoying it. But yeah, man, that's gonna about do it for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. Um, I will see you next week, man.